was at we were at Christmas dinner,
Oh, okay.
and nobody laughed. They might have been a chuckle, but they didn't appreciate it.
No, they don't.
Or maybe it's just my mind over matter, see?
What toilet humor?
Looks like.
What did they call it?
We're like,
With the mirrors.
Oh, yeah, a mirror, self-reflection instead. And Cheryl got that. So she says we could put this in the bathroom next to his sign that
yes,
he made
yes.
that one time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the one.
So I wonder how Cheryl's adopted baby's going.
You have plenty of battery in your phone.
I don't have one.
What does yours say?
My hat?
Okay.
My hat.
We're gonna be having a come to Jesus meeting.
Really?
Yeah.
My thing dies at 20%.
And you turn the light off, or not the light off,
I don't have a new, I have no pen right now.
Talks about that.
That's what it's supposed to do.
So help me out. Who did the prayer last Wednesday? Two fingers pointed at Chuck. He did it. All right. Okay, yeah, that's right. You prayed really quick, and it was cloudy. Not heard any updates if there's going to be a. I don't think it's passing over. Wouldn't matter tonight anyway. It's rainy.
Yeah.
Mr. Glenn, could you do the prayer for us tonight? All right, thank you.
Good thing is though, there's no water in the bucket over there unless you already emptied it or something.
I didn't even look.
And so I think they finally fixed it.
Well, that's good.
So,
Well, Miss Ann, I feel like I need to move over there and sit by you. Over there all by your lonesome.
I was gonna suggest she could move over there, but then I would be looking at it. There'd be an empty table. Like
You could move up.
it would be brighter.
It sure would
It
be.
would be brighter. Yeah, you get a little bit more of an angle there. Yeah.
they're still driving because they left yesterday.
Oh,
She texted me, they were in Ohio at 4 o'clock or something. No, she had a doctor's appointment at 2.
And they left right from there.
And they didn't go home.
He couldn't wait.
And it was right from the doctor's office.
So she might be like watching tonight and then probably get an update. Hopefully there's an update on where she is.
Got some water?
No, I have some.
Oh, want some coffee? You want some,
I have
pickled
some.
carrots?
I have bread and butter.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was a white elephant this time. We're not making those. So I figured there might be some foods, like pickled foods.
I like giant bunch of.
What do they taste like? I know they don't taste like bread and butter.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a sweet. Yeah. I just like pickles. I like pickles.
Says we got a few people online, so hi if you're out there watching this. You know, I'm probably one of the three. Addison's probably one of the three.
Maybe Vera.
If you're able to and you're watching, feel free to say hi and let us know who's out there.
Make it look like there's more people.
Make sure you click the like and subscribe. That boosts the algorithms. That way thousands and millions watch this.
Let's all go on, log on to YouTube, so it looks like we got way more people.
Yeah.
And you got to click like. You got to interact. Sometimes even those people will say, even if you just thumbs down it, it's something to do with it's still the algorithms will still. Oh, hi, Laura. Laura Hopcroft's out there watching this.
Where is she?
Okay, everybody's intrigued. Where are you, Laura? I mean, we know you're on YouTube land, but
No.
we have guesses for in a car and some laughs.
Yes, they're in southern Georgia,
We have a guess for southern Georgia,
or the top of Florida. There's not many hotels.
top of Florida. Florida's got a flat top.
No, it's just,
See, it was a joke. It was a joke. It's flat.
it was bad, because I just didn't acknowledge it. See, the end of
It just came to me.
We
So,
thought
yeah.
bottom of Georgia, that's like Valdosta, right? There's like,
Hello,
we
hello.
drove one time, we made it all the way to the end of Georgia, but we had.
Hi, everybody. Hi there.
She says,
Aw,
almost to
Rachel.
Florida. Almost to Florida.
Georgia, I was right.
Southern Georgia. Maybe they took a detour and they're in southern Alabama.
But, I
We're
mean,
gonna get back over the other
once you,
side.
once you get into Florida though, it's still another
Wrong
12 hours
state.
to get all the way to the end of Florida. Yeah, it's a long
It's,
drive. It is a
can you imagine that?
Maybe
Can you imagine that?
3.5
Can you imagine that? All right, so going from the top of Florida to the bottom, you said 12 plus hours-ish.
Yeah, at least.
All right, now going east to west, how far of a drive would that be? Because it's narrow.
A couple hours? I don't know.
Yeah.
You think a couple hours? Right.
Maybe.
So there you go.
Never been to the Gulf side, like Tampa and all that side, so maybe these days I'm still there. Always been on the Atlantic.
Oh, I see a star on someone's paper. How did she get a star?
Oh.
Chloe gave it to her.
Playing with stickers.
She's like, I did good work this week. That means she can answer all the questions for us. She's got them all. She's got the.
Last week, almost, I had quite a few last week.
What?
Yeah, I didn't get any last week. I'm really okay with not
I
having
had
any
like five
tonight.
You, oh yeah, it was you and Laura. Who it was? And then Vera was the tiebreaker there.
Yes.
Yeah, that was strange how that worked out. All right, well, we're going to continue on with Genesis 29 and 30, chapters 29 and 30. We're going to start over on the back side of the sheet. Don't ask me why. It's just the conclusion's a good summary. So it says, these couple chapters, Jacob's cunning secures Rachel, his desired bride, through deception. That's pretty interesting, right? He was the one deceiving, he was deceived. But seeds of discord are sown as Rachel's barrenness fuels sibling rivalry and Jacob's wealth. Through divine favor triggers Laban's envy, setting the stage for a future fraught with manipulation and family tension. So that's some of the things that these chapters were kind of long this week. And there's some confusing things that happen in there as well. Confusing or maybe interesting. We could talk about those things. But I am a little spacey, so don't overwhelm me. I may not be as chatterboxy tonight. I don't know. We'll see. It could go one of two ways. Either I do a lot of extra chattering or not much of any. So we're going to flip back to the front side of the sheet, and we're going to start in that section where lots of people love the fill in the blanks, probably the easiest section. Chloe's going to be spinning the wheel tonight. She's going to be on top of that. She may not have volume. I don't know if that would, Oh, she's, yeah, a little bit of volume. I was gonna say that could impact her battery levels, not real sure. Yeah, we should probably bring you a portable battery over here. All right, hey, Laura, this is starting off strong this week for last week. All right, so Genesis 29, verse 1.
So Jacob went on his journey and came to the land of the people of the east.
All right, so people of the east. East is that word there, the end of verse 1. Everybody got that? All right. I see stars on the sheet. All right. Anyway, good job.
This is already graded.
Yeah, already graded 100%. So if we have any confusing answers, we know who to turn to. All right, Chloe, we're on a good roll here. Let's see who gets the next fill in the blank. Who is it? All right, Chuck. Wow, I see a trend going. All right, Chuck. 29, verse 9.
Now while he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess.
All right, she was a shepherdess. So, female sheep herder, shepherd.
Is she the only one mentioned in the Bible as being a shepherd?
You know, that's the only one I can think of. And, you know, I've read through this a bunch of times. Well, we were watching a show a while back, and I saw a lady shepherdess, and I was like, I don't remember any lady shepherdess. Well, there you go. There you go.
I was thinking about that.
Well, I'm talking about the Bible.
Was both of them
Metaphorically? I don't know. All right. All right. Everybody got shepherdess. We're off to a good start. All right, Chloe, you can spin the wheel. Wait, hold up a second. Mr. Glenn, did you get that right? Or you...
No, I was in,
Oh, okay.
I was in.
Oh, okay, okay. That's Sunday. That's
It wasn't shepherdess.
oh, okay.
We've all been there.
Anita, all right, you get chapter 29, verse 18.
Now Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter.
All right, very good. Everybody got 7?
Yeah.
7, okay. Chloe, you can be spinning the wheel. All right, Addison, you get chapter 30 and verse number 1, and speak loud for the people all the way down in almost Florida.
Now when Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said to Jacob, give me children or else I die.
All right, everybody got that? The answer is envied. Envied. I think Chloe, did you say earlier today, was it you or Addison one said a little bit extreme, right? The way she was acting here, but dramatic. That was the word you used. All right, very good. All right, you can spin the wheel, and we'll see who gets to answer these. Fill in these last 2 blanks. Addison again. All right, and so Genesis 30 verses 25 and 26.
And it came to pass when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said to Laban, send me away that I may go to my own place and to my country. Give me my wives and my children for whom I have served you, and let me go, for you know my service which I have done for you.
All right, very good. So we have Joseph and the word and. Yeah. All right, everybody got that? All right, gold stars for everybody for that first section, and we'll see who has the most stars at the end.
It won't be me.
She'll, the most star. And she'll have an extra star. All right, very good. Now we get to these terms to define. So Marlene, I heard you beforehand. You were, it's like getting a dictionary and looking up definitions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I understood now,
yeah,
but I wasn't has that much time
yeah,
to prepare everything that
yeah.
I have any other idea.
It's all good. If your name happens to be called, we'll help you out. No worries. All right, Chloe, if you want to spin the wheel. Granny,
Gold Star Granny.
you get the word rolled.
To move by turning over and over and over.
Very good. So
Yeah,
your
over and over.
yeah, your answer's kind of rolling on and on, isn't it? Did anybody get anything different from that?
To commit, remove, roll away, roll down, or together.
All right.
I just added at the end, it said it could be literally or figuratively. I know here it's literal. They're
Yeah,
rolling a stone
this
away,
would be
but
literal.
It could be figurative too.
So how would you use it in a figurative sense?
Rolling along.
Rolling along. Okay, or like I said, that answer was rolling and rolling.
A
Ro-
Tennessee
Okay. Okay.
rolling thunders.
Yeah, I think I did the biblical definition, and then I think I googled it too, just to see what Google said. Move across the surface by turning over and over and over. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. That depending on the context, commit, like you said, was could be part of that, or remove. Obviously, you're removing something,
There's also
as in
like
this case.
flowing manner.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, very good. Anybody got anything else extra you want to add? I
I
think,
had to move by turning on an axis.
yeah, I think Chloe and Addison had that definition. Yeah. Out of curiosity, do you guys remember where you got that definition from? Regular dictionary?
In Google, it
Google
says
also.
that too.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Letter Bible, and it was like to roll. And I'm like, well,
Yeah, to roll. Yeah.
The word used in the definition of the
Yeah.
word.
Chloe didn't like that, so she went elsewhere.
Well, you got to remember, we are defining what the Hebrew word is. So the Hebrew word to roll that's the literal idea, is to roll. So then we got to figure out what it. But anyway, fun word. They were rolling that stone away, right, from the well, and then it said they rolled it away. So to me, if you hear they rolled it away, it would be more than one person. It's not like just a little bitty.
I was thinking that's probably why they wait till they're all there, so that
Yeah.
multiple people can be pushing the
Yeah.
stone.
So we're not talking about like a little rock right out on the beach, but this would be a very large
St. Jacob's something
stone.
as well, so.
Yeah. All right, Chloe, we're going to move on to the next word if you want to spin the wheel. The next word is affliction. Affliction. So this would be what might happen to you if the stone rolled onto your foot. You might, all right, Chuck, the word affliction.
I put misery and poverty.
Okay, misery and poverty. All right. Anybody got anything different or extra?
Depressions, trouble, and afflicted.
Afflicted. Did you say?
Which causes pain or mental distress, and in this case, the fact that Leah was unhappy.
Okay. Unloved. Did you say depression? Yeah, I saw that in there as well. Yeah.
Stress, pain, and suffering.
Yeah.
Could be physical or mental or spiritual.
Yeah. Very, very much could be any of those things. Yep. All right. Very good. All right, Chloe, you could be spinning the wheel, kind of like when I was making the joke. If that giant stone rolled on your foot, you would be afflicted.
Feel some affliction.
Yeah, but it could be physical affliction, or like it was pointed out, it could be mental as well. Chuck, what's going on, Chuck? You get
Solemn, that is.
you get the word made. Not to be confused with I made something.
Slave girl.
Okay. Slave girl, all right.
Maiden.
Female servant,
Female servant, okay.
young girl or woman who is a virgin.
Okay.
Belonging to a mistress.
Okay, belonging to a mistress. All right. Anybody got anything?
I put someone who cleans,
Someone who cleans.
and a medical assistant in dying, is what Google said.
So maybe a little bit different back then, but she would be a servant. She was a female servant, and that probably entailed some cleaning, helping her mistress out. They were also, and notice part of the definition there, they were considered part of the family.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, not, they would have, there'd be, I guess you say different levels in a family, and obviously they're not gonna have the same level as others, blood relatives, but they were still considered part of the family, right? All right, very good.
I saw under wages that payment for,
Well, we're not there yet.
yeah, but it's,
Okay.
it talked about for a servant. so.
Okay, so we'll get to that word next. Chloe, if you want to spin the wheel, spin the wheel. I think Mom wants to answer this one. Okay, well, Marlene, do you have this answered?
Yeah, I know what it means.
Okay.
To pay, like wages.
Okay, so a payment, all right. And so Jody, you included
It just said wages of a servant.
wages of a servant, all right.
And I also had a reward.
Eastward
Okay.
is payment of a contract.
Contract, okay, okay, very good. I included in there a salary for something,
To be punctually paid.
punctually paid, okay.
In one of the definitions that I did put payment for work, but in one of the definitions, it was to begin or continue a war.
Hmm,
I found it
interesting.
here.
Wages for, okay,
Kind of
interesting.
interesting that Laban had servants, but he also kind of was treating Jacob like, come work for me and I'll pay you, but, and then it says he changed his wages 10 times. I mean, it's just like, it's kind of interesting that it's almost like that's how he treated
So interesting that Chuck
the
would add
family
on
as
there
well.
punctual. I don't know if we could say Laban was very punctual in his
7 years,
payments.
7 more years.
Yeah, I mean, but they came into that contractual agreement, didn't they? And it takes two parties to agree to a contract, and they both came to that agreement. And anyway, we'll talk more about those agreements here in a little bit. All right, last word. We're gonna get to the last word to define here. Chloe, spin the wheel. Reproach. Reproach. Who gets the... All right, Anita, what you got for the word reproach?
Address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment.
Okay, all right, very good. Anybody got anything different?
Eastward said disgrace, rebuke, or shame.
Okay,
Dishonor.
dishonor, okay. Okay, so what did you say, Chuck?
Scorn.
Chuck said scorn. Addison, what did you say? Taunt, all right. Did anybody else see this? To me, this was a strange word. I don't use this word. Hey, man, spam people, you need to stop calling me during the middle of class. I will delete.
Answer it. A little bit of Jesus.
Be like, we're streaming, is that okay with you?
Answer with reproach.
Okay, how about the word contumely? Did anybody see that word?
I did. Eastward
Did you?
had that.
Yeah,
What is
But I
that?
didn't know what, I didn't write it down, but I remember seeing that, but I was like, I don't even know what that is.
so I looked up the definition for that. That's funny, now this is all wonky. It means
Reproach.
nasty, insulting speech. Yeah,
Kind of like disgrace and taunt.
I actually have looked this up before.
I'm sure it's someone things that
all right. And then there was another word, but I'm not going to talk about that word right now because we're streaming.
Okay.
And last time you remember what I was talking. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on from that. All right. So terms to define. Just suffice it to say the word reproach was something shameful or insulting, disgraceful. All right. So we're going to move into the questions from the text. Chloe can be spinning the wheel, and we can see who the lucky contestant is to answer this question. No worries, Mom. You got gold stars all over your paper. All right, Mr. Glenn, you get the question. What were some things that Jacob saw on his journey?
Well, he saw the land of the east, he saw a well, 3 flocks of sheep, a large stone, some men, Rachel and Laban.
All
I
right.
may not have understood the question, but that's my answer.
Well, that's,
I had her think of Laban.
that's,
I thought about it when I was writing it down.
well, it's a little bit more than I put, but that's okay. I mean, that's okay. It's great because I was, it could have. Literally, that's what he saw, right? He would have seen the land. He would have seen the people of the east. He would have seen that. This is what I put. I said he saw flocks of sheep by the well, from verse 2. But anyway, and obviously he would have saw the large stone and all that. Yeah, I mean he would have. But yeah.
Well, the question was for verses 1 through 13.
Yeah.
So I assumed we were gonna have to write all that.
It was just to cover that whole section, but very good. I mean, you answered it well. You can give yourself a big star on the side. All right. Anybody got anything else extra, different? All right. Sounds like we're all on the same page there. I mean, obviously, right? He would have. Well, yeah. Verse 10. It does say there he saw Rachel. Just kind of skimming through there. Anyway, he would have seen a whole lot of things. All right, Chloe, you can spin the wheel. Oh, Chloe breathed a sigh of relief. But Addison gets to answer this one. What agreement did Jacob and Laban agree on concerning the wages?
Jacob agreed to work for him for 7 years for Rachel's hand in marriage.
All right, very good. Everybody got that or something similar? Okay, excellent. We'll turn our sheets over to the back side here. Chloe could be spinning the wheel. Wow, Chuck, what is going on? Well,
You're
okay.
late.
So how did Laban deceive Jacob, and what was Laban's exclamation, his explanation? Laugh at me.
Gave him Leah, and he said it was not right that the firstborn be married second.
All right. All right, very good. Anybody got anything different, extra? So why didn't they give the younger to be married before the oldest? Yeah, it was custom. It was their culture.
So I'm kind of thinking that in order for Jacob to not know that it was Leah, so maybe he was a little married from the feast,
That's what I put, he got drunk.
then it was
He
dark.
got drunk.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Because, I mean, it
That's
doesn't
all
specify, but,
speculation.
I mean, he was really
It could be
looking
part
forward
of
to
their
Rachel.
custom as well. I mean, there's that new show that like, you don't see what your bride is until after the
Well,
marriage.
they do have their veils
and then
on.
they're unveiled.
And we've
Yeah,
already
and
talked
she
about
was
their
already
veil,
That's custom there, so.
Yeah.
and then he didn't
I
see
think
her
it
till
was
after
all
her
custom.
veil was
Yeah.
lifted, and
Yeah.
it was that's.
But, yeah, because they went like a really,
I don't like that custom.
yeah.
I like to see what I'm getting.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine the guy that you're marrying is all covered up and you didn't know, and then you're like, "Oh, that's his brother." How do you react to that? Like, that was not the one I wanted to marry. So, anyway, what was the answer? The answer was, for number 2, Chloe, you can help her with that.
And
All right.
that's after 7 years of knowing, so I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to imagine that you wouldn't, I don't know each other. I mean, if you've been around each other for 7 years,
Yeah.
But even eyes,
well, yeah, I don't know.
just eyes. I don't know. I mean,
Her eyes were probably covered.
might have been, maybe,
Yeah.
could have been.
Could have been. But
Yeah.
I just,
And it was
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't know, she didn't say anything,
And
or,
nonetheless, one day you can all ask them how that played
Totally a
out.
Scam, so you know that
Yeah.
she was fully covered.
Jacob, how did you fall for
Laban
that?
was doing this on purpose.
All right. Anyway, we do know Jacob was deceived, right? That's the moral of the story there. And it was their culture that the younger was not to be married before the older. So, are there still cultures that do that today? I'm not real sure. No.
Well, there's still arranged marriages.
Yeah, but I was just wondering about the older, younger married. Now, my Uncle James would tell you yes. I don't know. James is, anyway, funny. All right, what? So, yeah. All right, Chloe, you can spin the wheel. We'll get to question 4. All right, there's a lot of things that transpired here in 29, and then 30 is pretty long as well.
Never believe who let it on.
Chuck,
Yup.
do you?
I'm not doing anything.
All right, so
Chloe, keep it up.
Bringing it.
so it's not like it's electronic, so it's not like you can weight the wheel any. I've always wondered about the Price is Right, if there was somebody in the back slowing the wheel down or speeding it up.
Done by remote.
Yeah, but she can't do something like that. All right, question 4, Chuck. Describe the circumstances surrounding the birth of Dan and Naphtali.
Rachel gave, because she hadn't born children yet, gave Jacob her servant Bilhah.
Okay. All right. That's it? Okay, okay. I didn't want to interrupt. All right, very good. Anybody got anything extra, different?
My son, Rachel took matters into her own hands.
Okay. So we have another.
She named the children, so it was kind of like she was the surrogate.
Yeah,
Well, her maid
yeah.
was the surrogate, but Rachel was.
Yeah.
Considered their mother.
So would you say that there was some anger here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Rachel was a little, what did Chloe say? Dramatic. She's a little dramatic. And then Jacob, how did Jacob respond? So he was angry at Rachel, wasn't he?
This is not my fault, he said.
Yeah.
This is not my fault. That's God.
So out of that anger, you can sense frustration from him, and it probably made him feel sad, for her. So she's mad, he's mad, so there's anger involved. Then this Bilhah, the maid, gets involved in this, and so her children are considered Rachel's children, so you got this kind of surrogate thing going on. The name Dan means judge. And Naphtali, anybody know what Naphtali means? There was like a little marginal note in my bio. I clicked on it. Naphtali means my wrestlings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
It said because
so
because I wrestled or something like
yeah, verse 8. Because I've wrestled with my sister, and have indeed I have prevailed. So she calls his name Naphtali. So that's pretty sad, isn't it? Where you have these tensions between sisters now stemming over in the names of children. That's going to constantly be a reminder of things that went on. They probably should have just, in the future put that behind them. But anyway, that's always going to be attached to these kids. Jacob kind of wrestled his brother, didn't he? Coming out of the womb. So kind of interesting how this all kind of connects together. Next week, Jacob wrestles somebody.
Well, and he cheated. And so he's being cheated.
Oh yeah, lots of connections. Yeah, he deceived. He's being deceived. Later on, he gets deceived again, right, from his kids. So yes.
Sorry, I have something. Like God, He put Laban, his name?
Laban, yeah.
He said, in front of him to get learn, because he was mean and cheating in the beginning, to see what happened. This happened in front of him to learn, maybe. he put somebody.
Probably taught him some
somewhere
life
more
lessons.
than him
Yeah.
in cheating, to let him learn
Yeah.
and get a lesson.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Took him quite a few years to learn that lesson, but yeah.
I didn't like what Rachel says. You see her level in face, she's okay,
Yeah.
she's beautiful, and her sister ugly, but her level in face, she said, if I get like children or something else, I die. This is an answer, or she said like this is not good.
Yeah.
She said this.
Oh yeah.
The other lady,
Like Chloe said, dramatic.
yeah, it's different than her. From her, it comes like the what it called the people God comes from Jehovah's.
Okay.
How do you call this? Yeah.
So what I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe maybe Rachel was beautiful in appearance, but maybe mentally she wasn't. Maybe she
Few
had a
generation from
yeah.
Leah.
Okay.
So
All right. So very good.
yeah.
Some good thoughts. Chloe, we're gonna spin the wheel.
Just call it, it's Chuck.
Nope, this time it's Catherine.
I thought maybe Glenn. I was thinking.
Changing it up, this time it's mom.
Oh, hey, your first
I
one.
made note of that, it's my first one.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're supposed to announce your score.
I lost count.
You lost count.
Okay.
So we're question 5. What did Jacob ask Laban in Genesis 30, 25, 26?
Send me away that I go to my own place and country, my wives and children too.
All right. So everybody get that?
I summed it up.
Yeah, that's a summary of it. He's basically asking permission to leave.
Yeah.
Finally, can we leave so I can go back to my place, country? And he wanted to take all of his wives and his children because he had served Laban all those many years. Did they make an arrangement before Laban and Jacob left?
Yes.
Yeah, cause he kept adding, stay with me one more night, or stay with me one more night. Stay with me one more night.
Well, he
Didn't wanna let him go.
he didn't want to let him go, and then they made an agreement there in that last part of the chapter in regards to tending a sheep and goats.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so that we'll talk more about that.
That's
Yeah, I think
Skipping ahead.
I think we get to some of that a little bit more in the thought questions here, which is everybody's favorite section. So we're gonna move into that.
You might as well skip my name, cause I didn't fill it out.
Oh, no skipping. We rough it. We,
Look at them all now.
you see, you've jinxed yourself. Not that we believe in jinxes, but you don't ever say stuff like that. You say Chuck's gonna get them all.
Okay, Chuck, answer, when you hear my name, you answer it, okay?
And take my turn.
Well,
Everyone's turn.
well, these are thought questions. I should change it to discussion questions, but I've already made these PDFs, and it's we talk, we discuss. What your fourth? All right. So Addison gets the first thought question here. What does this account teach us about polygamy? Well, first of all, maybe we should define the word polygamy. What is polygamy?
More than one White House.
All right. Are there other ways to define that? I don't know, but anyway, polygamy, having more than one spouse.
I said spouse, like multiple
Yeah.
spouses.
So multiple spouses. So you think about, I mean, you could look at this account. You could think about other accounts. Think about Abraham. Things that we've already studied. What does this teach us about these types of relationships?
It's not of God.
Hey, thanks, Addison.
Said it causes strife and unnecessary drama and hurt feelings
All right, create strife
in all parties.
in all parties. All right, good. Anything extra? What's that?
Unless it's Discovery Channel.
Oh,
You ever show
well,
Sister Wives?
That reality TV is
I've
not
never
real.
watched it, but I mean,
It's not. It's
supposed to
fake.
be-
Drama and
Yeah, if
unnecessary,
it's
Yeah.
supposed to be illegal,
unnecessary jealousy.
yeah, why would
I
you?
said, it only causes trouble and heartache, it's not God's design, therefore a mess.
All right.
But he said from the beginning only one.
Yeah, in the
Why
beginning.
he did four?
It-
He accepted what
Well,
they said to him he go for?
Cause he listened to his wife,
Oh.
actually both
The
wives.
best answer to that, it doesn't make it right, okay? Because that's not God's plan in the beginning. I mean, even Jesus said, in the beginning, God created male and female, right? That's Matthew 19.
He only wanted Rachel from the beginning.
So what I would say is probably culture had a lot to do with that kind of thing. And people will say, well, why did God allow it? It's not that God was okay with it, but back then God, Paul says later on in the book of Acts, there was things that God winked at, he overlooked. He permitted it to happen, and we learn a life lesson from this.
Well,
These
back then too, they didn't divorce. I mean, that was not, probably wasn't even part of the culture either.
Probably not.
You
I mean,
marry someone, you're with that person.
later on, Moses is the one
Yeah,
that
yeah.
introduced that
So-
bill of divorcement. I mean, cultures may have had that. You just don't hear
Yeah.
you don't hear anything about it in the Bible anyway. But we do know there's a lesson. It creates envy, hatred, negative impact on the whole family, right? It's not just the wife.
Cause we
you know.
talked about it affecting the children.
Yeah, I mean, you look later on, you think about it, because most of us have been through the book of Genesis. We know what happens with the kids, right? And how was Joseph treated, right? And a lot of that was because who his mom was. So, and then you have Benjamin later, who then replaces and becomes the favorite. So it's just a bad situation that God never wanted from the very beginning of time. So. And so yes, polygamy is illegal today, but aren't there people that have like multiple boyfriends and girlfriends? I mean, even, aside from the marriage thing, but but doesn't that create strife and tension and anger and envy and animosity and all that? I mean, it's not good, not a good situation. All right, we're gonna spin the wheel. We'll get to this next thought question. This is probably going to go to Anita. Laura Raymond. All right, then we're on thought question number 2. When Laban deceives Jacob by giving him Leah instead of Rachel in marriage, what impact did that have on Jacob's family? And how does this incident compare to Isaac's earlier favoritism toward Esau in Genesis 25?
Okay, just to throw this out there, I apparently don't read these correctly, and I always only answer the first part of the question.
Okay.
My bad, I've done that twice so far.
It's all good.
Well, I put that he was angry at Laban, I'm
Okay.
sure, because he wanted Rachel, and even after taking Leah, he still loved Rachel more, and it caused jealousy with the sisters.
Okay.
But then with Jacob and Esau, Esau was Jacob's favorite, and then, the other one was,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
They each had a favorite.
Yeah.
Playing favorites is never a good idea.
So one might
It
think,
just causes jealousy
yeah.
and then anger and a whole bunch of nonsense.
kind of teaches us though that humans we don't really learn our lessons, do we?
No.
Because he should have learned.
No, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet here he is. Yeah. All right. Excellent. So you won that pretty good. All right. Anybody got anything extra that you put down?
It was worse with the other one because Esau wanted to kill Jacob.
Okay. Well, I mean that's.
Envy
That-
and madness.
Well, maybe
I don't
Rachel,
know if his sisters wanted to.
she
I
had
mean
a
there
lot
was
of
a.
anger towards Leah and jealousy, so it doesn't say that she wanted to kill her, but
Well, she
But-
might have because
well-
she got a kid.
There was affliction. She was afflicted, so there would have been a tremendous misery.
They were both afflicted.
And then the kids. I mean, later on, we'll talk about Joseph more in detail later, obviously. So he didn't help his cause by any means, but you could see some of this building up towards Joseph.
yeah.
And Joseph was the favorite, wasn't he? So you would learn. You think these people would have learned?
Yeah.
Don't do that. But
You'd think so.
they were humans, and sometimes we humans we have to learn our lessons the hard way, don't
I
we?
think we're
And,
just as dumb now as they were back then.
Probably. All right, so we're going to move on to question 3. This question is in regards to God's divine providence.
So close to chapter 8's Glenn.
All right, Mr. Glenn, in what ways do we see God's divine providence in chapter 29? We even see it in chapter 30.
Well, I just put, what I thought was, God saw that Leah was unloved, so he opened her womb, and she gave birth to Reuben, Simon, and Levi.
Okay, so certainly God would have been.
Should have put that down. I was gonna put that down and I said, I'm not sure what happened.
So God's divine providence. What is providence?
Things he said
Power.
in motion.
Yeah,
Action.
yeah, and it would be him working behind the scenes. All right, so he certainly did that for Leah. Anybody got anything extra different?
I wasn't sure how to answer that.
No.
I put, that he caused and helped Jacob to be successful. He brought Jacob and Rachel together, and Jacob started his family, which was the start of his many descendants.
Yeah. All right, excellent.
The lineages continued, or God's lineage.
Okay, God's lineage through Jacob. So we do see God protecting Jacob all through this. Even over there in chapter 30, right, with the flock of animals. That was, but we'll get there. So Jacob went to this land. He was just traversing through a land, and there just happened to be people there that happened to know,
They just happened to be at the well.
and they happened to be
Happened to be Rachel.
they're the relatives, and then Rachel.
Told him,
Yeah.
and Rebecca told him, go
Yeah,
to my brother's house.
Yeah, so he's just over there,
Yeah.
and then stumbled upon him. I mean, so you can see God working all that throughout that. And then Laban took him in. You know, we get the vibe here. Laban's not a very good guy, right? At least in these couple of chapters, and changing his contractual agreements. Yeah, but at least it was nice that Laban took him in and provided for him to help him. So, all right, very good. We're going to get to question number 4, and that's the sign for spin the wheel. Do, 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 do. All right, Granny. No worries, you got the gold star. There's manipulation. Not on that side. That's funny. So there's some manipulation going on between the sisters. It said 14 through 16. Could have been a little bit more section there. But anyway, is it ever acceptable to manipulate others, even within the context of family rivalry?
No.
No. All right. Good job. Now, did you expound on the no?
No, because you didn't say so.
Well, I think I've said publicly before, and I got this on tape, YouTube tape. Haha. That's how old I am. I think they still call it tape over in Britain. But anyway, you elaborate, expound. Did anybody expound on this?
It did.
Okay. Do you want to?
And I said, no, also not okay to use Jacob as a pawn. Oh, and then I just wrote what the mandrake was.
Okay. All right. Very good. Anybody find that interesting about the mandrakes? Do you remember the mandrakes? That was kind of.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, see, that was kind of strange. Anyway, so Leah felt like Rachel stole her husband, and now she, being Rachel, is trying to steal the mandrakes, and it just seems kind of like a random thing to just throw that in there. Oh, by the way, I came across this. I thought this was interesting because it says, oh boy, if I can find this. Where does it talk about it? It says, it was Reuben. Reuben went out into the field. You remember this?
Mandrakes.
Yeah, so where was this? Verse 14. Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, found mandrakes in the field, brought them to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, please give me some of your son's mandrakes. All right, so he didn't go out there and pick them, he just found them. I mean, he might have pulled them up. Anyway, Albert Barnes says that don't ask me how he came up with this number, because I have not a clue, but I just thought it was interesting. He said Reuben was probably about 4 or 5 years old when he was out in this field. So he was, anyway, he was young. He was a young boy. It's not like he's a worker man out in the field. He was a young boy at this time, and he found these mandrakes, came back in, and then all of a sudden, who wanted the mandrakes? Rachel wanted the mandrakes. And ancient custom was, or believed, or thought that these mandrakes promoted fruitfulness of the womb. And that's why Rachel was wanting them. And that made Leah mad, right? There's some competition between these two sisters. To have these kids, to be more loved. All right, anyway, anybody got anything extra?
I do, but I don't wanna read it out loud.
Okay, well, you can share it after class if you want to. Or
Okay.
if anybody's, well, never mind. I was gonna say, if you're interested, you can go talk to her afterwards.
No, that's okay.
No, that's okay, all right.
You
It's
can just
more for her
read it.
personal notes. All right, Chloe, we're gonna come down to the last question. Spin the wheel. How many hands and feet are in this chapter?
32.
And this is where we'd have to count all the Laban, servants, Jacob, animals, just kidding. Granny. All right, Granny. This is not a yes or no question. Well, maybe it could have been. Anyway, is Jacob's proposition to Laban a clever strategic move to rapidly increase his own flock, or is it an unethical manipulation taking advantage of Laban's belief in divine favor? You have nothing. Anybody want to help her? What do you guys think? Was it manipulation? Was it a strategic move?
I put it was unethical because Jacob deliberately built up his flocks while weakening Laban's flocks.
Okay, you said it was unethical. Anybody else?
I thought it was clever.
Okay, I put down it was clever.
It
Okay, could have been a
both.
little bit both. Could have been. However, did anybody read the next chapter?
Yes.
Yeah, I read.
Because if you read the next chapter, chapter 31, we see God told Jacob
Yes.
to do that. So God wouldn't have told him to do something that was wrong. There was a purpose behind it. That was to bless Jacob. This would be God's divine providence to help build Jacob up as a nation. That was one of the promises God made to Jacob, right? To protect him, bless him, prosper him, as long as he was faithful to God. That was the promise that he made to Isaac and to Abraham. And so now he reconfirmed that promise to him. So we do see it was God's providential care. It got a little bit tricky, or a little bit confusing if you read through there about the different plants. What was that, verses 7 and 8? Let's go back to here. Where am I? Was it 7 and 8? No. 31. Anyway, that's God's providential care. 25 through 43. The different plants that are mentioned there. Peeling back the bark. And then there's anyway, really interesting article. You can maybe you want to jot this down for your notes, go home, Google it, you can read it. It's from Answers in Genesis. And the name of the article was Jacob's Odd Breeding Program of Genesis 30. So whoever wrote it, I'm not sure if Ken Ham wrote it or not, but in that article, they do talk about how modern people want to say that that's kind of a snake oil kind of, that's false, that's not true, that couldn't happen. And then later on in the article, the guy who wrote it actually broke it down and says science agrees, and there's reasons scientifically researched that these different types of plants would be helpful and beneficial to the animals. It would have given them different vitamins and minerals and things to help them have babies and all that stuff. Some proteins in there. So a lot of good information in there.
And
What's
there's,
it again?
Um,
This is in Genesis.
Jacob's Odd Breeding Program of Genesis 30. I did write down the note, or the verse number. It was verse 37,
Well,
I thought.
since Laban had proved himself over and over to be shady, so
Yes.
Jacob just asked to leave. and then he just keeps stalling and stalling and putting it off and
Yeah.
putting it off. So I mean, if Jacob would have just left, or said he was gonna leave, all it would take would be to kill Jacob, and all of that belongs to Laban.
Well,
So
if I remember right, the next chapter over, God even sees the demeanor of
Yes.
Laban. It's kind of like the
So it's like jealousy
Pharaoh.
there.
It's like the Pharaoh in Exodus, right? He's like, oh yeah, you guys can leave. Next morning, oh, change my mind, you can't leave. Oh yeah, you can leave. Oh no, now you can't leave. That's what Laban's doing here. So again, verse 37 was the rods of the green poplar, almond, and chestnut trees, peeled white stripes or strips in them, and exposed the white, which was in the rods. So pretty interesting scientific.
Yeah, breed of sheep is still around today. It's called Jacob sheep.
Yeah, Chloe, did you look that up earlier? I thought I heard you guys talking something about that.
In the past, I think I've written about Jacob's sheep in the past for
Okay.
schoolwork.
He put
Yeah.
like six to be
Yeah.
stripes and something.
Yeah,
It was
yeah. Some of them in front, some were in the water to attract the animals. Different ideas as to why he did that. Some, if you're around sheep long enough, you're obviously going to know sheep and goats. You're going to know what they need. But did Jacob really have to know all of that? No. All he had to do was obey God.
Yep.
And God said, this is what you need to do. And that's what he did. So, and you think about Laban too. Yes, it was bad that Laban did what he did. It was bad the way Pharaoh enslaved the Israelite people. But there was a purpose behind that slavery. It protected them. Israel grew to a large nation while they were protected in the borders of Egypt. Here, they'd be under the protection of Laban and his servants and his people to help Jacob grow and his family. So,
Yeah, sorry about this. When he showed us at the chapters 30, I read it both of them, 29 and 30, to follow you here. I believe when he changed the color from black to white to something, like we have a picture like he changed the person, a bad person to the good person. Like God, he can do anything.
okay.
You can't believe what happened here. And when you think about this, you take an example or a lesson, how God, he can change from.
Can change. That's very good. Something else I did put down in my notes that the culture back then was usually the sheep were white in the Eastern culture, and the sheep were black or dark brown, and it was the speckled ones and the lighter ones that were considered not as strong. But the irony is they were the stronger ones, and Laban got the ones that would, according to them, would be the strong ones, and it was the reverse, right? So interesting how that all played out. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. We'll end there. Let's see. I think Mr. Glenn volunteered to lead us in a prayer. Kind of, sort of volunteered. Okay.
What did you mean that Jacob's cunning secures Rachel, his desired bride, through deception? For the summary, for the conclusion.
I'd have to. It's been a few weeks since I wrote that. I'd have to.
Because I didn't think that he did anything deceptive, so I just didn't.
Yeah.
know
Well, the whole situation was just. Yeah.
He himself
Yeah.
was
That's
deceived.
true. That's true.
So I didn't know if I misread something.
Good point.
And one more statement, but this is not from me. My
Yeah.
husband says he was over 70 years old when this happened. Jacob.
Yeah, he was older. Yeah, he was much older. Yeah.
They lived maybe over 135
yeah.
years or something. He still, but he has feelings from the beginning when he saw Rachel. They show us his emotion and he's very has feelings and something about her. And he's a good man. He was good, but when he was at his parents' house, he cheat his brother and too much fight. And
So it's
something.
you kind of see some characteristics of him throughout his life. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Very good. Mr. Glenn, if you're ready.
Our great and kind Heavenly Father, we thank you so very much for many, many, many blessings you've given us today. We thank you so much for this class, and we study your word. Pray that you continue to be with Brian in his efforts here and maybe learn from him. We pray, Lord, that you'd be with this congregation, help us in our works. Pray that you'd be with all the sick of our number, particularly be with Brother Junior Thacker and certainly be with Don Thornton. And pray that you'd be with John Barker, certainly be with him and bless him. We pray that you'd be with anybody that's been maybe right now traveling around. Certainly Chuck's mother who's traveling in Florida, certainly be with them. And we pray they can have a safe trip. Pray that you would be with us now through the rest of the evening, bring us back to the next time, and please forgive us for our sins. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, thank you guys. Thank you.